The days grow shorter and the nights grow longer. The leaves fall off the trees. A little part of me wants to go farther, someplace that has warm breeze. But the cold seas are my home, and the warm tea fills my bones. It is the season for hibernation. Disrupt my rhythm. Where I too go on.
Hi, I'm Marcus Coward, and this is Huli J. Chan, a musical showcase, and I'm here with Huli J. Chan. Hi, Huli.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited to dive in.
Cool.
Would you say you are more a musical artist, a visual artist, or somewhere in between?
I would definitely say I'm both. I make visual art and music. I'm a musician, a singer-songwriter, and a puppeteer. I build giant papier-mâché puppets. So I sculpt and I paint and I do some sewing and lots of different things to get puppet shows together. And my music is very visual, and the puppetry tells the stories through the lyrics in the songs. So I'd say I'm fluidly
Fun.
both.
Okay. And are you doing this with yourself, or do you have a group with yourself?
I've been playing music recently with a band, which is really fun, and making the puppet shows with a troupe called the Wicked Queer Puppet Theater. We're a collective of singer-songwriters, musicians, dancers, artists, and just community members who want to jump in. It's really accessible art, so anybody can be a Wicked Queer Puppeteer.
Amazing. Okay. So what have been, or who have been, some of your inspirations to get you into the kind of art you've gotten into?
Being a songwriter, for me, that was just like processing my own experience. It came through when I pause and I let enough space, like the songs come in. So I do listen to music and I'm inspired by other folks, but I think mostly the universe inspires me to write songs. As for puppetry, 2 summers ago I did an apprenticeship at the Bread and Puppet Theater in Glover, Vermont. It's the oldest political puppet theater in the country, I think, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been around since the 60s, make giant papier-mâché puppets. It's protest theater, and I learned about puppetry there, and it just felt like the missing piece for me of the art that I create. And so I came back from that really jazzed up, being like, we're starting a puppet theater in the South Coast.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that's needed here in the South Coast as well. So you bring up the term protest theater, okay? And would you consider your art to also be a type of protest?
I think so. I think my art is self-reflective, and in that it's reflective of the collective, because I'm a part of it all, and things that I grapple with, I think, are things that the world is grappling with. So there are some songs that I write that are actively protest songs. Really, all the art that I make is moving towards liberation and questioning the systems that we live inside of and have created, and trying to imagine how the world could be more filled with love and care and in connection with the earth and in connection with each other. And so that's definitely a thread that stems through all my art.
Sure. So talking about your art and your music, I'd love to talk about Adrenaline. First song on your new album, Worm's Wings, okay, came out July 8th. Amazing. I've gotten a chance to listen to a few of the songs.
Thank you.
Adrenaline is the first song, but we were talking about your activism and your protesting and how much your art can mean to the world and how self-reflective it is. Okay.
Adrenaline kind of reflects this like adrenalized lifestyle that we find ourselves in, this capitalist world and system of like go, go, go. And the lines in there of the chorus are, I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that I'm gonna die, and so I won't decide based on what's right and wrong. And it's kind of like that, like, oh, well, I'm not gonna think about my impact because I have to move so fast just to survive in this world, in this
survival
culture.
mode.
Yeah, you're in survival mode, and so many of us have felt that.
It's so relatable.
In the world we're in, or like, I gotta go to the next thing, I gotta get the job, I gotta get the money, like it's very, like that's the drive. And that leads us to not think about the fact that we do have this life, and we have purpose and meaning and ability to make decisions that are based on our values and are based on caring for others and caring for the earth.
I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that I'm alive. I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that I'm gon' die. So I won't decide based on which right or wrong. I won't decide based on what's smart or dumb. I won't decide based on which right or wrong. I won't decide based on what's smart or dumb. I'll just do it 'cause it feels good in the moment. I'll just do it 'cause it feels good, even though I shouldn't. 'Cause I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that I'm alive. I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that I survived. But when the feelings come in, will they break you, my friend? Will they take you sailing into the storm? When you put half yourself onto a shelf, will you spill off, overflow into your own arms? Too much thinking sometimes gets you stinking, sometimes makes you think that you're all wrong. Too much thinking sometimes makes you think that you are weak when you are really strong. 'Cause I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that I'm alive. I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that we survived. I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that we're alive. I'm still running on adrenaline from the fact that we gon' die.
So I want to hop to one of your other songs in the album, Shapeshifter. And if you could tell me a little bit more about that and what that has to do with gender identity and society right now.
So I think Shapeshifter is a song that, it kind of goes beyond like this three-dimensional realm of like humanness. And I had a very near-death experience about 5 years ago. I was diagnosed with, had a brain tumor. It was cancerous, and I had to get surgery, and I had this moment where I felt like, or time span where I kind of felt like I was in between of this like world that is here and the world beyond that is unknown to all of us.
Sure.
Some of the lyrics are, I came from a past life, and it kind of talks about the fluidity of us coming into this world and leaving it, and then recognizing the eternal sense of self, which is our soul, and how that it is genderless. That's when I compare myself to a worm. The album's title is A Worm's Wings.
Yes.
And worms are these non-binary creatures, and I love the idea that they can compost our garbage essentially into fertile soil,
yes.
and we can grow something new out of that. And Shapeshifter calls out like this culture of binary, and that binaries have been used for power, like race, gender,
yeah.
man, woman, black, white. Like, I'm gonna separate and then put one above the other,
yes.
and then those are the people in power, and those are the folks that are oppressed. And if we recognize our fluidity and like our eternal sense of self and soul that is beyond like these constructs and boxes that we've created in society that were built for power, then we recognize ourselves as a part of a larger collective and something that we can empathize with each other and see ourselves as wholeness, and it unifies us. And Shapeshifter, that's like it's a shifting point in the album as well that moves out of this, like the first few songs are really like kind of like shedding this like these human shadow selves, like material things, and then it goes beyond that and thinks about, and it's more of this like collective story of how do we recognize the impact that we do have while we're here and work together to create something better in the time that we do have.
Amazing. You're impacting the world how you see you're able to.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we all have a duty to, and you've taken it upon yourself to create your art and not just have it be something fun or for yourself, but to make it for people and to also educate people as well, which is so important because that's how you empower people. Not just through education, but through unbinary decision making, okay? Like that was so poignant because binary choices does create division, and that pits us against each other. And that's the opposite of unity and peace and growth. And so that's just so inspiring and respectable that you've undergone this mission.
Thank you.
Only critters that you can hear when you're this far removed. The water soaking your toes from the holes that are inside your boots. We walked into the sea to find what we could see. The reflection of you was staring back at me, not a he or she, there's more than two. I came from a past life, maybe yesterday. Who knows who I'll be tomorrow, never quite the same. Shapeshifter, 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 shapeshifter. Running in the pouring rain so that I could feel again. Water curtains were hanging in front of my eyes, made me forget all the lies. Blurry vision must go out on the wettest days when the worms come out their caves. Free squirmers, find them crawling naked in the dirt. Never a him or a her, neither creatures. They came from a past life, maybe yesterday. Who knows too there'll be tomorrow. Never quite the same. Shapeshifter, shapeshifter, shapeshifter. Shapeshifter, shapeshifter, shapeshifter. Be gentle, you ripped them in half, now there are two. They were whole from the start, there was one, now there are a few. Carelessly, intentionally, you tore them apart. They survived in no disguise, maybe it was their 5 hearts. They survived, keeping us all alive, maybe it was their 5 hearts. We came from a past life, also yesterday. Who knows who we'll be tomorrow? We'll be here anyway. Shapeshifter, shapeshifter, shapeshifter. Shapeshifter, shapeshifter, shapeshifter. Shapeshifter, shapeshifter, shapeshifter. Shapeshifter, shapeshifter, shapeshifter.
Talking about some of your other music, okay, because you've taken a turn with this album. You've said that your 2 previous albums, along with your EP, were just you and the uke, as you said, okay? So, starting there, if we were to listen to the 2 albums or the EP for a new listener, let's say, which one would you point to the new listener first?
I mean, I think my songwriting journey really starts with my first album, which is called Hospital Socks.
Okay.
And it really does talk about the journey that I had with my brain surgery. And I came out of that very disabled. Like, I was half blind, and it really made me look at the world like totally different. I couldn't read at all. Everything was, I kept on saying, like, everything is arbitrary. Everything is, so I was kind of in this state of like, I already was like, well, nothing's real. But then it really was affirmed that for me.
Yeah.
But it was also that the music healed me through that time. And Make Believe, the next one, goes deeper into that. And I wrote some of that during COVID times. And
Could I ask about Hospital Socks? Were you writing or thinking about music in the hospital, or was it after?
I started in the hospital, but a lot of it was by feel and touch and memory and sound, because I couldn't really read and write. So but it was right there. Like it's just like the songs started flooding in at that time in my life. So I do think I was in some in between where I was having access to some other stuff.
Absolutely. And you were just feeling things and experiencing things you've never felt before, and that was trying to express yourself the only way you knew how, even just in your brain. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, and then what was the catalyst to give you the idea to go in this experiential new direction for this 3rd album?
Well, so I got it produced by a family friend. He's actually my godfather. Wow. He's an amazing musician. He lives in New York City, and we just did it in his apartment on his computer. But he just plays every instrument, and he put so much on it. And hearing that level of sound, and I always heard that. Like for me too, when I was writing the songs, I was like, this album needs to be like louder. And it's the first album I wrote on the guitar versus the ukulele. Okay. So when I had the more sound, and it had such a clear thread of a story for me, I kind of, along the way, I was like, okay, I want puppetry to tell this story, and then
Okay.
eventually I got the idea that I was the worm. So I did the album release.
Yeah.
I was in these wings,
Sure.
and I was in a full worm suit, and I sang through the whole album, full band and cast of puppeteers, and it just, I don't know, it asked that of me. I think the art asked that, was like, it wanted to be seen and heard and colorful and vibrant.
Sit in my guitar case, look up a new moon. Sun's just a setting like an egg yolk in your spoon. The spirits are singing protest songs from the distance of the pine woods. Will carry them along. Summer's alive, evening primrose blooms in front of our eyes. Trash gets eaten by raccoons, and I swoon for the season when I feel wide awake. Dancing costume by land, swimming naked by lake. When the fireflies come out and the grand puppets sing, there's a new world we fight for, we won't stop dreaming. We're an army of dreamers, that's what they say. We'll only take orders from paper mache. We march to the brass band, clowns yell to drum beat. Sweat drips down our white shirts, blisters on our feet. The crowd fills the circus, awaiting the noise that calls out oppression, gives the people a voice. We've come together, all colors of the earth, in touch with our death, we strive for rebirth. When the fireflies come out and the grand puppets sing, there's a new world we fight for, we won't stop dreaming. The war and the greed may never cease, so the theater, the art, the bread we must feed. We come to defy our apocalypse, in every generation a lifetime a blip. The magic, the mystery, the rise and the fall, the spiral of existence, the poetry of it all. Puppeteer echoes will ring through hilltops in July, like the light in the darkness of the sweet fireflies. When the fireflies come out and the grand puppets sing, there's a new world we fight for, we won't stop dreaming. When the fireflies come out and the grand puppets sing, there's a new world we fight for, we won't stop dreaming.
So, Huli, thank you so much for this interview. It has been a true pleasure. And let me just say, thank you for joining us here today. I'm Marcus, and this has been Huli J. Chan on A Musical Showcase.